Have you ever been there, in an English conversation, maybe with someone new, a teacher, even a native speaker, and you have this like burning question inside, but the words just get tangled. You feel stuck.
Oh, definitely. That feeling of not knowing how to phrase it, it's super common.
Yeah, but asking questions is just so fundamental, isn't it? It's how we learn, connect.
Keep the conversation actually going.
Exactly.
And that's really why we're doing this deep dive today. The mission, really, is to help you become a kind of question-forming pro.
Okay.
We want to give you the skills to ask questions that are clear, correct, and, importantly, confident. We've looked at a bunch of guides, pulled out the best stuff.
The shortcuts.
Yes, the shortcuts, the key insights to get you there faster.
Okay, let's unpack this then, because asking good questions really does open doors, to actual conversations.
It does.
Which can feel, well, a bit like a puzzle sometimes with all the word swapping English makes you do. So why is mastering this so important? I mean, beyond just getting the grammar right.
Well, think about it. Questions kick things off, right?
Yeah.
They're how you make friends, how you ask for help when you need it.
Order that coffee just right.
Or even, nail a job interview. They're just part of everyday life, connecting with people.
For sure.
And yet, it's a real sticking point for so many learners. We hear this all the time.
Right. What's the main hang-up usually?
Often, it boils down to those little helper verbs, the auxiliaries, like do, does, did.
Oh, yes, them.
Yeah, and figuring out how the word order changes, how it flips. You got to think of them like traffic cops for the sentence.
Huh, okay. Directing things.
Exactly. They signal question coming. Getting that flip, that inversion of the subject and the verb, that's honestly key. It makes it all feel less overwhelming, builds confidence.
Okay, so with that idea of flipping in mind, let's get into the main types of questions. You mentioned there are sort of three main categories.
That's right. We've kind of grouped them into three golden types. If you get these, you're pretty much set.
All right, what are they?
So first, you've got your yes-no questions. Simple enough, right? The answer is just yes or no.
Oh, okay, straightforward.
Then, WH questions. These start with those question words who, what, where, when, why, how, which. They're for digging deeper, getting more info.
Right, the details.
Exactly. And third, we have tag questions. These are interesting. It's like a statement.
With a little question tacked onto the end.
Precisely, like, it's cold today, isn't it? Often for checking or just sounding more conversational, maybe a bit softer.
Okay, got it. Yes, no, WH, and tags. So how do these work in practice? Let's start with the basics, the yes-no ones.
Let's do it.
The main rule here, you said, is about inversion, flipping things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the core idea.
Huh.
An auxiliary verb, one of those helpers, usually jumps to the front before the subject, then the main verb comes after.
Okay.
It's that structure change that tells your listener, hey, I'm asking something.
And which auxiliaries are we talking about mainly?
The big ones are do, does, did, and the be verbs, am, is, are, was, were.
Right.
Also have, has, had, and those modals like can, will, should, could. Kind of the command center for the question.
Okay.
And with be verbs, it's even easier. You just move the is or are or whatever straight to the front. No do needed.
Let's make that concrete. Give us some examples. Show the before and after.
Sure. So, statement. You like coffee.
Okay.
Question. Do you like coffee? See, do pops up front.
Got it. Simple enough.
Or she goes to school.
Becomes.
Does she go to school? And notice this is crucial. Goes. Changes back to go.
Ah, okay. That's a key point.
A very key point.
Yeah.
One more. Past tense. They watched a movie.
Question. Did they watch a movie?
Exactly. And again, watched reverts to the base form. Watch.
Okay, so that base form thing seems really important after do, does, or did.
It's the rule.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you nail this one rule, you are way ahead of the game.
So always the simple, basic verb form.
Always. Think of it like the verbs, I don't know, naked form. No eds, no ed, no in. Just the plain verb from the dictionary.
Because the do, does, or did already shows the tense and stuff.
Precisely. The auxiliary does the heavy lifting, so the main verb can just be simple. It's actually quite neat.
Okay, that makes sense. So that covers yes, no. What about when you need more than just yes or no, those WH questions for digging deeper?
Right. WH questions. Your tools for getting details.
And they start with?
What, when, where, why, who, how, and which. Those are your main guys.
And the structure. Is it similar?
Generally, yes. It usually goes WH word first,
Okay.
then an auxiliary like do, does, is, or can.
The help verb again?
Yep. Then the subject, then the main verb. So that WH word sets the scene, telling you what kind of info is needed.
Gotcha. Well, let's run through some examples again, maybe starting with what?
Sure. What do you eat for breakfast?
Yeah.
WH word, auxiliary do, subject you, verb eat.
Okay. How about where?
Where does she live? WH word, auxiliary does, subject she, verb live.
When?
When did you arrive?
Why?
Why do they study English? How does this work? Or even with D verbs. Why are you sad?
Right. No do there because are is the auxiliary.
Exactly. Or with a modal. How can I help you?
Okay, that structure seems pretty consistent. WH word, auxiliary, subject, verb.
Mostly. But there's one slightly tricky exception. It's with who.
Ah, okay. What's the deal with who?
Well, sometimes who is the subject of the sentence. It's asking about the person doing the action.
Right.
In that specific case, you actually don't use do, does, or did.
Really? How does that work?
So you'd ask who came to the party, not who did come, because who is the subject, the one who came.
Okay. So if who is the doer, no dodos did.
Exactly. But compare that to who did you call?
Ah, there you is the subject, the one doing the calling.
Precisely. So you need did. It's a subtle difference, but it shows how English adapts, makes those who is subject questions feel very direct, like a shortcut.
Interesting. Okay, so we've got yes, no, WH questions. What about the third type? The tag questions. You said they add finesse.
Yeah, finesse, politeness, checking information. They're really useful for making conversation flow naturally.
Like you're inviting the other person to agree or confirm.
Exactly. And the basic rule is pretty simple. You just take a statement,
Like, you're new here.
right? And you add a mini question tag at the end. So you're new here, aren't you?
Okay. Or if the statement is negative, like, she doesn't work here.
Then the tag is positive. She doesn't work here, does she?
Ah, so it flips. Positive statement, negative tag. A negative statement, positive tag.
That's the golden tip right there, is a simple flip-flop.
That's actually quite clever. A neat little trick to sound more natural.
It really is. It softens the question and invites connection.
Okay, so we've covered the types, but let's be honest, learning involves making mistakes, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's unavoidable. Part of the process.
So what are some of the really common trip-ups people have with questions? And crucially, how do we fix them?
Good question. Number one probably is that verb form after do, does, or did. We keep coming back to it because it's so common.
People forget to use the base form
Exactly. You hear things like, do she likes pizza?
instead of,
Does she like pizza? Base form like. Or did he went there?
did he go there?
Correct. That main verb must stay in its simple base form. Remember, the auxiliary already did the tense work.
Got it. Base form, base form, base form. What's another common one?
Incorrect word order for getting that flip, that inversion we talked about.
So just using statement order.
Yeah, like saying where you live.
Instead of where do you live? Flipping do and you.
Exactly. Or where you are going, which needs to be,
Where are you going? Flipping are and you.
yep, one more, what she does.
Needs to be what does she do? Flip does and she.
Right. So remembering to consistently flip that subject. And the first helping verb that's your quick win for getting most questions right. It clarifies things immediately.
Okay, makes sense. Fix the verb form and remember to flip. Got it. Now, beyond just being correct, sometimes you want to sound, well, nicer. Right. More polite.
Definitely. Especially in certain situations. Being polite is key for good communication.
Yeah.
Building rapport.
So are there specific phrases that help with that, like little politeness hacks?
Absolutely. Think of them as magic phrases instead of just say, can you tell me? Which is fine, but
A bit direct sometimes.
maybe. Could you tell me? Sounds a little softer, maybe more formal.
Okay. Could you? What else?
Do you know if is great for indirect questions? Like, do you know if the shop is open?
Ah, that feels much less demanding than is the shop open?
Exactly. And another really good one, especially for requests, is would you mind?
How does that work?
You usually follow with an ing verb, would you mind helping me? Or would you mind closing the window?
Very polite.
Very polite. It's not just about manners, though. It's about showing respect, giving the other person agency. It actually strengthens the connection.
That's a great point. So definitely avoid just barking what if you don't understand or tell me.
Yeah, those can sound quite blunt. Much better to use pardon or, sorry, could you repeat that? Or one of those could you tell me phrases. Makes a huge difference in how you come across.
Definitely noted. Okay, theory's great, but practice is where it sticks. Right.
Couldn't agree more.
So let's try putting you, the listener, on the spot a bit. A little practice session. I'll give a statement and you try forming the question in your head or say it out loud if you can. Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, first statement. He plays guitar. How would you ask a simple yes-no question to confirm that? Pause. Did you get, does he play guitar? Remember, plays becomes play.
Nice.
Next one. Statement. They went to the beach. Turn that into a yes-no question, past tense, pause, answer. Did they go to the beach? Went becomes go.
Good one.
Okay, statement. She likes chocolate. Your turn for the yes-no question. Pause. Should be. Does she like chocolate? Okay, scenario change. You want to know the start time. The info you have is the meeting starts at 5 p.m. How do you ask when it starts? Think WH question. Pause. The question is, when does the meeting start?
Perfect.
Another one, statement, they are happy. Make that a yes-no question using a be verb here. Pause. Answer, are they happy? Just flip they and are.
Simple flip.
All right, let's try a tag question now. Your friend says, you've been to Paris. How do you turn that into a tag question to check? Pause. You'd say, you've been to Paris, haven't you? Positive statement, negative tag.
Classic tag.
Last one, WH question time again. Statement, she enjoys painting. You want to ask what she enjoys. How do you phrase that? Pause. Answer, what does she enjoy?
Excellent.
Fantastic. Hopefully that got the gears turning. So just to quickly wrap up the main ideas.
Yeah, the core strategies.
For yes, no, it's usually auxiliary first. Flip it.
Right.
For WH questions, it's that WH word, then auxiliary, then subject.
Usually. Remember who as subject is different.
Good point. And for tag questions.
Statement plus the opposite tag. Positive, negative, or negative positive.
Perfect summary.
But again, the key really is practice. That's how it becomes second nature. So what does this all really mean for you listening? Well, knowing is one thing, but doing is another. Knowledge really clicks when you use it.
Absolutely. Which leads us to a final thought, maybe a little challenge for you.
Ooh, okay.
To really cement this, try asking just, say, 5 questions today in English.
Yeah.
Out loud, even if it's just to yourself.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, pick something in the room. Ask, what's this for? Or think about a place you want to go. I want to visit Japan. Where should I start planning? Just ask something.
I like that. Active asking.
Exactly. The more you actively ask, the more fluent you get, the more confident, and honestly, the more curious you become.
That's so true. There's always more to explore. And using these frameworks, they're pretty simple. Really, it just unlocks so much more curiosity and connection in English.
So keep diving deep. Stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask those questions. Apply what you've learned. Until next time.
Enjoyed the video? Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more English learning videos. See you in the next lesson.